Hello, hello, hello. I am Alec, and this is Alec Game Dev. Today, I'm going to remake my first ever game I have made in Unity. First of all, you need to know why I chose to start in Unity in the first place. Well, as usual, I'd always been interested in technology, making websites, and I had an old YouTube channel, which I'd created when I was only 11. This had over 1,000 subscribers, and I had a really small following. But this is for another video. With this YouTube channel, I had made a website. This website was made by Wix, and it was really bad. But this was one of my first times I'd found out I'm into technology, and I had an advanced understanding for my age in how technology works. Going on from that, at around 12 or 13, I'd started making more websites. Very simple HTML websites at the time. I was studying computer science at GCSE, which is where I learned Python, which I had almost completely forgotten at this point. On Christmas 2019, I was 13. I got a 2011 iMac at this point. I was attempting to use Unity to learn how to make games. This is where my first game comes in. I had discovered a YouTube channel by the name of Jimmy Vegas. He had made tutorials for beginners, and I had ideas floating such as making the metaverse, before I even heard it from Mark Zuckerberg, and making an MMORPG game. However, these ideas were too complex for me at the time. While I was looking at Jimmy Vegas' YouTube channel, I had found a cookie clicker tutorial for beginners. So I decided to follow the tutorial step by step. It is now 4 years later, I've started this YouTube channel and a Twitch channel to go together. Today, I'll be recreating my cookie clicker game. To get started, I must come up with all the steps to making the game, so time starts now. First, I start by making a main menu. This was really easy, just slap on a few buttons to start a new game, and to load a previous save. I then write up some code to go on to the next scene. Slap them onto the buttons. Something like this, and the main menu is done. Now, they don't look visually pleasing. That is because I was making it look exactly how it does in Jimmy's video. Now, I'm 9 minutes into this project, so I need to get started on the game. So, now all I do is copy and paste the existing buttons from the main menu to save me those precious seconds. I now duplicate the buttons, rename them, and put them in place to use later. These are temporary buttons, and I'll change how they look later on. I now need to show the player's stats. What I do is create an image and make it transparent. Then in that image I'll create text, which I'll change later in the script. There are two scores. One for how many bakers you have, and one for how many shops you have. At the top left of the screen I create two more text boxes, which will show exactly how much money you have and how much cookies you currently have. These will constantly change depending on how much you are earning and selling. And of course, on the top right, I add a save game button because for some reason, Jimmy Vegas does not want the game to autosave, which is easy to implement. Now, for the final touches. We add an error box, which will appear and disappear if you don't have enough money to buy something. But before we move on, let's hear a word from our sponsor. Yes, yes, yes. We all like listening to music. Some of us buy subscriptions, and some of us... Let's not talk about that. Anyway, why not check out OSTM Radio? I made the website and app from scratch for everyone who enjoys indie rock to come together and listen together. OSTM Radio is free to listen to wherever you are. You can download the OSTM Radio app in the description below, or check out our website at ostm.co.uk. That is ostm.co.uk. And now, back to the video. We are now on to scripting the game. I'm going to start with the simplest thing, which is to save the game. I'm going to simply make a script which calls a specific function when the save game button is pressed, and this will contain each player pref I set. I just need to add the 4 integers, and voila! I am done with saving the game. But what's the fun in saving the game when there's nothing to save? Well, don't worry my friend, I have you covered. I'm going to add a function so every time the make cookie button is pressed, the amount of cookies you have go up by 1. Now as you can see, the cookies go up one by one. Time to allow the player to sell the cookies. Think of it this way. There is a little kid running a cookie stall. They have to make cookies and sell them all on their own. Now all I have to do is the same thing as adding the cookies. We buy cookies. Wait. Then you are selling mine as cookies? This won't do. I will have to add an if statement which checks if there are no cookies available, which will then show an error box we made earlier to say,
"Hey, you have no cookies left. How do you think we can sell no cookies?"
And yes, that works. Now all we have to do is copy a few lines of code, slap the word money in some places, and now we have the exact same thing happen if you try to add more bakers. And there we go. That works exactly how I want it to. We can now manually buy and sell cookies. But what if that little kid wants to become a baker and own lots and lots of shops? Well, my eagle-eyed viewer, I have you covered. All I have to do is check how much bakers we have, sprinkle a little bit of mathematics in there, and there we have it. Automatic cookie slaves, bakers. Yeah. I don't really understand how this works. I'm writing this script 2 weeks later after making the game. And I had to cheat a little bit by watching Jimmy Vegas' original tutorial on making the cookie clicker game to figure this one out. But this is the one time I do this, I promise. Now at this point I went through a lot of configurations to make sure this all works correctly. I ran into a few bugs where if you have the same number of bakers and shops, the game looks like it freezes. But in reality, my shops are so efficient that they can sell and buy cookies at the exact same time. Could I have fixed this by adding a delay on the bakers? Yeah, I could have. Did I? No. But why? Well, I had 30 minutes left to complete this game and I had no time to waste. So with 30 minutes left, I have completed the scripting. But what is left to do? Well, I need to get images for the game and add audio to the game to make it feel more immersive. So time to hop onto Google and legally use some images. I then import them into Unity and swap out the textures of the buttons for images of the cookie and the pound symbol. But as Jimmy did, I'm going to leave the text over the images. As Jimmy has already provided us with the audio for the game, I just stick with that audio as I am running out of time. I go back into the script and add a random dot range to the buttons, so every time that button is pressed, you'll get one of two different audio sources each time you press a button, to give a bit of diversity in the game. I then add an error sound, which was easy enough, as every time there is an error, the sound will play with one line of code. For the background audio, I head into Epidemic Sound, where I get all my audio from. I chose one which matches the energy of my game. Import it, and add it as a looping audio source. With 10 minutes left, I have some final touches to make, and some bugs I need to fix. All I have to do is fix the main menu and how it loads previous saves, change where the error sound is played, as I had it in the wrong place, test the game, and with 5 minutes and 13 seconds to go, I had completed it. I am proud of how far I have come in my 4 to 5 years as a game developer, and I want to thank Jimmy Vegas for starting me on this path in my life. If I didn't have his easy to follow tutorials, I do not know where I would be today. In this project, I was able to create my first ever game again in just 2 scripts, one for the main menu and one for the main game. I would have never been able to accomplish this without Jimmy's help. I hope you have all enjoyed, and if for some reason you want to check out this game, check the description below for a link where you can play the game in your web browser. And also down there is a link to sign up for my developer program on the Monkey Runner project we have been working on for the last 2 months. That is all from me. I am Alec, and this is Alec Game Dev, and I'll see you all next time.